The dramatic events laid out in the UK phone hacking scandal could pave the way for new privacy laws in Australia. The federal government says it's been galvanised into action by the repeated and serious breaches by the News of the World. But with the Prime Minister already in a war of words with News Limited papers, the opposition says it's a thinly veiled attempt to intimidate the media. Matt Wordsworth reports from Canberra.
Australia has no legislated right to privacy. 3 years ago, the Australian Law Reform Commission recommended it should. Now the Privacy Minister says the time is right to revisit the idea.
We've now seen with this extraordinary scandal overseas that there are questions about the extent to which people's privacy is protected.
The Commission called for protections against serious interference with home or family life.
Just stay off.
It also wanted to outlaw unauthorised surveillance and prevent disclosure of private correspondence or facts about someone's private life. The government says a public interest defence is likely and a discussion paper will be released soon.
They also care about freedom of the press, and so they should. So we'll obviously be seeking views on how these two things can best work together.
Some fear it'd mostly protect the rich and powerful.
I don't know if we want to go down the path of what's occurred in France, where they have strong laws on privacy, which seems to protect politicians and the wealthy more than anyone else.
The last thing I want to do is support anything which is a thinly veiled attempt to intimidate the press.
The review comes amid a very public spat between the government and publishing giant News Limited. One minister accuses it of bias. The Prime Minister says the misdeeds of sister paper News of the World means the Australian operation should be answering some hard questions. News Limited points out there's been no evidence of any wrongdoing and says it's not concerned by the latest comments.
We're not intimidated by them. We don't think that they were appropriate, but as I said, we're happy to answer the questions.
The company has launched an internal audit overseen by 2 former judges, but it also faces a push by the Greens for an inquiry into media ownership.
Do you think that News Limited should be broken up?
In the Australian context for News Limited, I think that's something that should come out in the inquiry.
The bombshells may have dropped in the UK, now reverberating around the world. Matt Wordsworth, ABC News, Canberra.